this is actually what's happening in the universe as a whole. The Pythagoreans, they describe the universe as like a cosmic musical air holes and windpipes. So when the windpipe breathes, it releases fire that is light energy. And so the light energy is not primary, but it is a byproduct of the breathing as of time itself. And so the reason this is the emptiness that's different than Western science is because we typically define a vacuum as potential energy based on space and a symmetric space. Whereas Sir Roger Penrose points out that at the beginning of the universe, time is highly asymmetric and also highly coherent. And this is why it's accurately described more as music than, say, speaking a phonetic language using external measurements with technology. So this is what Penrose calls the measurement problem, because the future of space is based on the assumption of a linear operator of time as a linear causation of time, whereas if time is highly asymmetric and was highly coherent, and information is conserved, and energy is also conserved. Therefore, the accelerating space from the past of the universe is not just a linear causation of time into the future. And so the time is highly asymmetric as a potential energy that's breathing us in, breathing all matter as a breathing space into itself, into the emptiness, as time is like a causation. And so we can see and perceive, but we can listen to it. When you're sucked back into the future, then we realize that our past was just a symptom of a future colonization that is inherently self-limiting because the matter is turned its source as a virtual photon in the future. So therefore it's possible to have visions of the future that are more real than our sense of meaning of time in 4D space-time. But our perception of time is malleable.